see if any of the other things that I like to got down tonight work. You know, in my trading room before the end of the day, I close the room at noon, but before the end of the day, I always go look at the earnings that are out the night of, and in the morning. And I say, you know what, if this is this, I like it. If this is this, I like it. I think this is going to do this. And then I tell people what to watch. Excuse me. Now, of course, nothing's, you know, reported yet. At the time I'm doing that, it's noon, you know, between 11 and 12 o'clock. But I can tell from the charts, okay, by reading the charts, what I like them to do, what I want them to do, all right? I teach a class on how to trade gaps, so I'm looking at the earnings distinct gaps, and I can tell, because I know so well how to trade gaps based on the stuff that I teach, what it needs to do to be good, then to be a good gap. And I can tell. And sometimes I get an instinct, and this is what we're going to kind of talk about tonight, okay? So let's get started. My name is Melissa Armo. I'm with the Stock Swoosh LLC, and tonight's seminar is about the power of conviction in trading. Here's my information for those of you that are new to the Stock Swoosh. You can email me at info@thestockswoosh.com or melissa@thestockswoosh.com for more information about my gap class, about my trading room, anything at all. And tonight we'll also talk about the trade I called today in my room, which was IAG short, which had a swoosh. And we can talk about that tonight when we're done, and anybody wants to stay after too. So tonight is about the power of conviction. And here it is. This is a picture of a mouse with a helmet and a piece of cheese, but it may as well be a picture of me. Okay? It may as well be a picture of me because this is me every day that I have conviction in something. I go for it, all right? I put my helmet on and go for it. And this is kind of what you need to look like, all right? Because remember, you know, the market isn't a trap, okay? The market's not a trap, and the money's not the cheese, but it kind of is in the sense that there's so many people that want the money that's in the market. There's not, you know, you have to have the conviction to go after and get it, okay? Now, right now, this picture is one mouse and one cheese, so it's 1 to 1. But though that is not the setup in the market, okay? There's not $1 for every person and so on and so forth. It's a huge mass of people trying to grab at the money or the cheese in the market. And who's going to get the money and who's going to get the cheese, all right? The people that have conviction are going to get the cheese. The mice with the helmet, the mice with conviction are getting the cheese, and they're the only ones. Conviction is experiential. I have a picture here. This is a picture of a cockatoo. It's a pet. It's hard to explain to someone, what the heck are you talking about, Melissa, about conviction? I don't know what you mean about conviction. Like having conviction in a trade, in a strategy, in a gap. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay? It's hard to explain it to you because it's a feeling. It's experiential. It's kind of like the feeling you would have if you have a pet. Okay? A pet cockatoo. All right? Or any pet at all. It's hard to explain if you never had a pet you love. What it's like feeling love for a pet or having a pet, it's an experience. And it's one you can't describe and put into words sometimes. I'm going to do the best I can tonight to describe in words to you what conviction is, to help you get it, all right? But I have to tell you, it's experiential, all right? It is 100% experiential. And once you experience it, you will know. And that's where I'm trying to bring you into that realm, okay? I'm trying to tell you, first of all, you need to get this experience. And if you never had it, work with me, get it. Take my class, join my room, you've got to have this. If you never experienced it, you're not going to know what I mean until you do, but it's possible you will. You've got to get yourself to that place, okay? Here's an example of the market. This is the chart of the market the last couple of days. I don't have today's on here trading, but this is what the market looks like. The market has been in a tight trading range ever since the beginning of the year, almost impossible to play unless you had stocks and symbols and things to trade that you had conviction in. This is why you have to have it as well. If you're doing plays in a strategy that's totally dependent on the market, you were chopped to bits since January 2nd, all right? Look at every tiny bar in this chart. It's like a doji. All these bars have tails and sticks all over the place. There's no solid color in them whatsoever. I actually didn't look and see how we closed today. I can look at that at the end of today. But this is why you have to have conviction. You must have conviction in what you're doing in a strategy because otherwise you're going to get chopped up. If you're looking for maybe this, maybe no higher, maybe we come in, what do I do, what should I do, maybe. It's, what? Okay, nothing. You're losing money every day trying this and trying that and getting nowhere, all right? So you have to have it. You've got to have it. If not, you're going to get chopped up, and that's what happens. Some days you make money and some days you lose, and that isn't productive, okay? It's just not productive. There's only one productive way to trade, and that's with conviction. The problem is that it is experiential. First of all, some people don't even know what the heck it is, okay, which I'm going to teach you tonight. And second of all, it is experiential. If you never experienced it, it's hard for you to grasp what I'm saying in the sense that you really know that you have to have it. But I must tell you that you've got to get there. And however long it takes for that to happen to you, get there. Get to that place and make it your mission to do so. Because once you do, you'll never go back, all right? You'll never go back to taking a trade without conviction. And if you do once in a blue moon, you'll catch it right away. You'll catch yourself right away and say, why the heck did I do that? I didn't have conviction in that. That was crazy. You will stop your losses and minimize your losses by not taking trades without conviction. You will really make progress with your trading if you start to learn to trade this way. So the stock market. The stock market is accessible really to anyone from any walk of life to trade it. Do a lot of people make money in the stock market? Yes, they do. How do they make it? Why do they make it? Can you do it? What do you need? Okay. Well, there's lots of people that make money trading. There is. Okay. Yes, there is. Can you do it? Yes. Why do they do it? Well, they do it because they might like it. They do it because they could be speculators. They do it because they like the money and they don't want a real job. Okay? How do they do it? They have to have some kind of system, and they really have to have conviction. And they have to have focus. Right? So many people are doing so many different things and don't have focus. And when I say focus, I'm talking all the time about gaps, and a strategy is a gap. I mean focus beyond the strategy, okay? I talk to people all the time that might have a strategy, that they're doing the one specific strategy. They're doing that thing. They're not doing anything else. Maybe they're doing up gaps and down gaps. Maybe they're not just doing down gaps like me. Maybe they're doing all kinds of gaps, whatever. But they do have a focused strategy, all right? But they lack the focus in what is going on with their trading. They do not know why they're not making money. They can't figure it out, okay? So the lack of focus in someone's trading and they're not being able to produce money consistently might have to do with a lack of focus that is not about the strategy. It might have to do with the entry. It might have to do with the exit of their trade, money management on the trade itself, okay? Or a lack of focus that has nothing to do with any of these things at all. It might have to do with a lack of focus that has to do with them having no clue, okay, what conviction is, a sixth sense, or how to really trust themselves and their instincts on their own trading. So they might have something that they do that's a focused strategy. They might have a focused entry or exit plan or money management, but they're still not producing results. Why? I know people like that. They are doing one thing, and they can't make money to save their life. They might be break even or down a little and not losing a lot, but in the end, they say to themselves, what the heck, I've been doing this for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and I'm not making money. Why? And I know that they know what they're doing, okay, but they lack focus somewhere, and it's not in the strategy. It might be somewhere else. What? What is it? What am I talking about? Is it some magic crystal ball? Is that what we need? We need a magic crystal ball. If that's what we need, I actually think that I have that now after the last 2 weeks. After calling Google and Apple, I think I might actually have one sitting here next to me. But the fact is, it's inside of me, all right? It's what I call a sixth sense, and it's something that resides within all of us. I have a magic crystal ball in me, and you have a magic crystal ball in you, all right? We don't go to the store and purchase one. It's inside of us. Here's an example of the sixth sense at work. One of the days I was in the room, and I called this trade up here, and this gap failed on the day, didn't do it. Went the next day, didn't do it there. Watched it this day. You know I called this thing right here, and the second I called it in the room, it dropped off the cliff. Couldn't even tell you why. Just saw it, called it, and it fell like a rock. That is the sixth sense at work, okay? Me seeing something and saying, take it, and then it goes, okay? It's a sixth sense. All right, now I like the gap the day that it worked. It fixed itself in the next day, but but this was a live call I made in my room that I called right up here and it dropped off the cliff. Okay? That is what I'm talking about when I say a sixth sense. Now, do I have a magic crystal ball? No, I have a sixth sense. Okay? And this is something that you can develop, and this is what I'm trying to teach people. All right? Google was another one I used this example because last night I looked at the charts and we looked at earnings. And people asked me in the room yesterday morning what I thought about Google. And I said, you know what? I think Google's going to get up and it's going to get us $750. And then in the morning we saw it and it did it, or within $1. And that was my sixth sense. Okay, I don't even play long. This isn't even what I do. Okay, I saw something in the chart and my sixth sense. Okay, ultimately, once you get to a point where you start to develop this within yourself, it will continue to develop itself. You will get better and better and better and better, almost to the point where you do feel like you're psychic. And the thing is, you can do it. You have a human intellectual brain and mind that will develop this thing within yourself, a heightened intuition, once you do this and start to focus on charts and chart reading and sophisticated chart reading and the numbers and all the stuff I teach in my class. If you start to do that, you will pick it up. You will see it. You will read it. You will do it. Day after day after day after day after day. And then you get to a point where you don't need to rely on anyone for anything. Not for a job, not to be in a training room, not for somebody's calls, not for whatever. Okay? That may take months, it could take a year, but eventually you'll get to that point. The timing of it, though, is different for everyone. Okay? But it is 100% possible. It takes courage to press the buttons at the right time. When your heightened sixth sense kicks in and you see something, and it's aggressive, okay, let's just say, it takes courage to press the button. So day that I called this BBBY in my room in December, I saw it do this, dropped down, took it first here, killed it right away, popped up. As soon as it dinged over 57 by 1 penny, I said, boo, there it is. Called it in the room, and as soon as I said that, it fell off a cliff. It takes courage to press the button, especially when you're in it over here, and then you get dinged out. And then as soon as you see it do something right again that tells you it's ready to go, take it. It takes courage to press the button on an aggressive trade, on a gap down the size that this gap was, and before it even went, okay? And if you waited to take it under the low of the day, okay, or waited to take it under this tail, or waited to take it here, anywhere, you know, it could have bounced in here, actually. You missed this whole move. We're going to take it down here. It did go a little bit farther down, but actually this drop from here to here was 85% of the drop of the move in the day. All right? So if you didn't press the button here, you missed this. It takes courage to press the button. How are you going to do that? Part of this also is a sixth sense that you have to develop, and part of it is conviction, okay? It's the conviction that allows you to take these trades like this, press the button right there in 1 minute chart, and put the stop right over here, a couple pennies. How do you do that? How do you get to that point? How do you take any size in a trade like that, more than 200 shares? You have to have conviction. How are you going to get to that point, okay, with whatever you're doing in trading, whatever it happens to be? How are you going to get to the point, all right, where you press the computer? How do you get from here to there, all right? It's not like there's a mapped out destination that says, if I do this and I do this and I do this, I'm going to get to the conviction that Melissa's talking about in 62 days. You know, it's not like going on vacation. It's not like getting on an airplane. It's not like taking a trip, okay? It's a trip that happens that's experiential, just like I discussed about earlier today with the pets, okay? It's how to get from here to there. It's just to start to do it, okay? Just to, first of all, right now, in this moment, this second, right here today, at 4:53 Eastern Time, saying to yourself, I believe what you're saying, this makes sense, and I know I need it, okay? Just acknowledging the fact that this is true, okay? That what I'm saying is true, that you have to trade with conviction. That's the only way you can be successful. And I don't care if you're a day trader, a swing trader, a core trader, a hedge fund trader, a manager. I don't care if you manage millions of dollars at $2.50, okay? You have to have conviction to be successful trading. How much time will it take? How much time will it take to get conviction in your trading? And how much time will it take to get conviction in a trading strategy? Let's just say you don't have one, or you don't have one that you actually have conviction, and maybe you don't because you don't like it. You don't really believe in it. You really don't believe it works. And the problem really is a strategy, okay? Maybe you're doing daily buy setups and daily sell setups, and you're saying, what the heck? I don't work consistently. I just don't. I think I need to do something else, and maybe it is gas. Okay? Whatever it is you're doing, think about the strategy first, because if you don't have conviction in that, it's going to be hard for you to get it. Okay? And if you don't actually believe what you're doing now works with whatever trades you're taking, if you can't convince yourself by now, and you've been trading for months and years, well, that thing might not work. Or it might not work for you. You've got to remember that not everything works for everyone. There's other strategies out there that I don't do and I don't teach that work in the market. Of course. Of course. I only go short. Longs work. People make money going long all the time. I don't do it. Doesn't mean I don't think it works. Okay? Me personally, this is what I do. But the point I'm trying to say is find something that meshes with your personality. Find something you say, yes, this grabs me. I believe it. I can get a hold of this. I can own this. I can own this thing as mine and get conviction in it 100%. And when you do that, you will be successful in it. It's like you're just saying to the universe, this is mine. I'm doing it. I own it. I'm going to make money doing this. I will reach my financial goals. I'm stepping out into the unknown, and I'm going to do it. All right? And if you can't get to that point with what you're doing now, reevaluate what you're doing because something's missing. Part of it's the conviction, but maybe you can't get it because you just don't believe the darn thing works you're doing. All right? That doesn't mean it doesn't work at all. It means you might be missing pieces of that, or you just don't believe in it because it doesn't mesh with you, your personality. Okay? I like apps because they go fast, quick, hard in the morning. I like shorts because they just seem to move nice and easy and fast and quick and hard too. I just like the whole concept, okay, and it just works for me. Longs seem to take longer to go, okay, so I don't have the patience. Whatever your personality is, some people can't get in a trade, okay, at 9:35, 9:40, 9:45. They can't do it. It's not their personality. They have to wait till 10, 10:15, 10:30, 10:45. They have to wait till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, that isn't my personality, but it's some people, all right? Whatever it is, figure it out and let it mesh with yourself. So you have to look and ask yourself, how much will it take to get conviction in yourself as well? Because if you have been trading for a while and you're at the point where you don't have conviction in yourself, you're going to have to get yourself together, okay? Because you're not going to get where you need to be until you get this too. You may have a great strategy and you might know how to trade, but if you don't have a conviction in yourself because you haven't been making money trading, then it's time to reevaluate and reassess yourself with this as well and figure out why. And the longer it takes you to figure that out, you're just wasting time, okay? How much time will it take? Who knows? You can decide. You're in control. I can't tell you. I can tell you that it can take as long as you want it to. If you want it to take a long time, it will. If you want to give yourself a whole other year to continue doing what you're doing that's not working, not be willing to learn something new, not being willing to come in my room, not being willing to take my class, not being willing to change something you're doing, back off your risk, okay, until you start to get conviction. Take a break from trading altogether. Learn a new strategy. Do something. If you want to take as long as you want to take the time as long as you need. Life will let you take it, okay? Because no one has a gun to your head that says you got to be successful with this within any period of time. However, that being said, all right, there is something called a time continuum. Time can go on and on and on and on and on in a time continuum that just keeps circling and going forever. Are you happy being on that time continuum? Do you feel like what you're doing is worth it? Okay? Why can't you just make the decision that you're going to do what you need to do now and get where you need to go within the next month? 30 days. What is today? January 23rd. Okay? By February 23rd, okay, let's say to yourself, this is where I'm going to be with my trading. What would happen if you did that? Would you put all kinds of pressure on yourself so much you'd stress yourself the hell out you couldn't take it? Or would you say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to get conviction in my trading by February 23rd. I'm going to get conviction in my trading, my strategy. I'm going to do something new. I'm going to learn something different. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get this success you're talking about. I don't care what it takes. I got 30 days. All right? What if you said that to yourself? What if that day happened you didn't have it? Would the world come to an end? No. Okay? You'd be at the same place you are now. All right? So why not just do it? All right? Time is a man-made concept that we allow to control what happens to us sometimes. We use it to exist and coexist in this universe, all right? But in the end, okay, we are the ones that control our own destiny. And if we want something to take a long time, it will. If we don't want something to take a long time, it doesn't have to. Now, is this insane that I'm talking about this? I mean, is this crazy? No, okay? Because what I'm telling you is, if you can get yourself to a point of a heightened intuition, a sixth sense, a conviction, a place within there with your trading, you will advance your own time continuum to a level that you could never have imagined. Because again, this is experiential. Remember the cockatoo pet. That until you start to figure it out and do it and experience it, you won't know what I'm talking about. Tom is saying Einstein said time and space are the same thing. You know, I could probably do a whole seminar on that. I've got to do a seminar on money someday. I just got to do one all on money. It probably would be like 10 hours long. I'd probably have to do a whole weekend on it. I could talk forever. You know, really I could. Is it just luck? Is it luck? Is it luck that I said yesterday morning that Google was going to gap up and go to $750? Is it luck that I said today in the room that Apple was going to gap down and that the target was $425 or $400 eventually with Apple? That was, in fact, right now, what is Apple trading at? I'm not even going to look at it. Tell me what it's doing right now. Is it still gapping down? Did it work? Is it doing it? It's 5 o'clock. Is it really gapping down? Was that luck that I figured that out? I called it with osmosis. Should I have gone on Kramer? What if I would have gone on Kramer tonight and said that? Would everybody in the world have told it? Is it luck? Okay. Is it luck? Am I just lucky that I see these things? Are some people just lucky? Are the people making money trading just lucky? Are they just really hard workers? Is that it? Have I just worked my butt off for the last 4 years? Which, by the way, I have. Okay. But that's not it. It takes more than that. Because I worked my butt off for a year at the beginning. I worked my butt off for 2 years. I worked my butt off for 3 years. Okay. I worked my butt off for a long, long time and lost at the beginning. And I was working hard. And I know people that are working hard now. I know some of you right here tonight. You are working very hard and you're not making money, so it's not about the hard work. All right? And it's not about being lucky either. Are some people just lucky and some are not? No. What is the difference between one person who is making money trading and one person that is not? There could be many differences, but ultimately, sometimes, you know what it is? Not that much. Okay, really, sometimes it's just one little teeny-weeny thing. And the one little teeny-weeny thing might be what we're talking about tonight, which is the lack of conviction or the conviction that that's what it is. We create our own luck. Sometimes it seems that everything's going wrong and everything's falling off a cliff, and you say, gosh darn it, another thing happened to me. What the heck? I thought this was going to be a great year. Now this thing happened, and this thing happened, and this thing happened. Wait a minute, you know? And you just got to pull yourself back, get control of the reins and say, stop, hello, okay, this is my life. These things are not going to make me fall off a cliff, okay? I'm going to regroup, get it together, and move forward. This is going to be the best year of my life, okay? I don't know what that crap was, but I'm not even going there. Let's do what we have to do and just move on, okay? Because occasionally what happens is, and I talk about this actually in my class, that when I talk about perseverance, sometimes you're making so much progress with something, and things are going great, that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you know, somebody tries to throw a blanket of wool over your eyes, and you can't let that happen, and it's just one more obstacle to get you further ahead, okay? One more obstacle to get you further ahead, one more last test to get you where you need to be with the market, one more last thing, one more thing, okay? And it just tries to test you to see how badly do you really want it. Do you really want to make $1 million trading? Do you want to make millions of dollars? Do you really want it? So one more thing happens, and then you know what you have to do? Just rip the blanket off your face and say, yeah, I really want it. Let's go. Let's go. Here we are. Go time. It is not just luck. It's a sixth sense. What do I mean by a sixth sense? Is it a hunch, a gut feeling? Can I trust it? Is it something I can learn? How do I know I'm right? How do I know the difference between a feeling that is a correct guide or a feeling that is incorrect or feel for? How do I know? How do I know? How do I know? How do I know? Is there a little guy sitting on my shoulder and another little guy over here? met the person you married, or your best friend, or anyone, okay, or even me, okay. You're here for a reason. You trust the words that I'm saying, and I always speak the truth, okay. And not only that, I say what I believe, all right. So somewhere in your instinct, in your senses, in your gut, you say, this girl's saying stuff that I think makes sense. I actually think she's saying things that they're resonating with me, okay. So you're clairvoyant in feeling that created you to come here to listen to me talk in the first place, okay. You see what I'm saying? Here's where everything kind of goes awry. The whole thing about the fear about trading and risking money in the market and all the demons that happen in trading that come up, and these things may come up really quickly within yourself when you start to trade, or maybe something that exasperates the stuff that builds on itself over time, where all of a sudden you've been going at this thing for years and the demons almost take over you, and you've named them now. You actually have a name. This is Johnny, this is Joe, this is Sam. You've given them names. You've actually given them power and given them life. These things called demons. You talk about it. You talk about it with your friends. You talk about it with me. Everybody has a name. Look, this guy even has a face. Okay? Do you really want this in your life? Ask yourself that. All right? Don't give any more power away to the fear or the demons in your trading, in your money management decisions, in your decisions to trade or make money or anything you're doing. Cast it out. Get rid of it. Let it go. Every time you talk about it, you're giving it power. You do know that, don't you? The fact that you discuss it with yourself, you're giving it the power. And so it just continues to grow. And then you wonder why you're not successful, and you can't get anywhere, and you can't figure it out. And you can't move forward, and you're afraid to take a class, and you don't want to do a room, and you don't want to risk $250 when you see a swoosh, even though it drops off a rock, okay? And you can't take any size, and you're not sure what to do, and you can't press the button at BBBY with $57 with a 2-cent stop, and it drops, off a cliff. It's because of all the fear that's been building up inside of you, and now you've given it a name, okay? It has a life form now. It's almost like you can see it, all right? Talk about being clairvoyant, okay? This is real stuff here. How do I know what the heck I'm talking about, okay? Because I have been through it, okay? I have been through it, all right? So this is how I know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm not reading anyone's mind here tonight. I'm talking from my own experience about what I've gone through to get to this point myself. In fact, somebody said to me today, do you remember when you did this? And I said, no, I don't even remember that. He said, you really don't remember that? And I said, no, I don't even remember that at all. And, I just, realized, okay, that the person was talking about something that happened a long, long time ago in my training. It was a friend that I used to, consult with at the time when I was going through my process of learning and my own issues, okay? And I said, I don't even remember that happening. And I really didn't, okay? Because I don't think about it anymore. I don't give this power anymore. I just stopped doing it, all right? I just don't do it anymore, all right? I'm aware of the fact that these things can control you, and they will control you as long as you want them to. Remember the time continuum, okay? These entities, these demons, these fears will stay alive and living and well around you, surrounding you, and all your trading, and everything you do, and every money management decision you make, and everything that has to do with money, and it will seep over to other things in your life. Let me guarantee you it will, okay? Unless you take control of it, move on, and stop giving it a name, okay? Cast it out, be done with it, move on already, squash it, okay? Sit on it. You know that one time, I had actually kept track of my losses at one point from the beginning. That was an insane thing to do. The fact that I was keeping track of them in a notebook made them grow. Do you know how crazy that was that I did that? It was ridiculous. I actually did it. At one point then, I realized how insane it was. And I was really making progress with my trading. And I just knew I was going to get it. I always knew I was, which is why I did it. And but these things I was doing were hindering me moving forward. So I kept track of the losses on a piece of paper like an idiot. All right. I ripped it off one time in a sheet, took it in the fireplace, and I burned it. Got up the next day, made money. The next day I lost money, wrote it down in the book, and then kept track of the loss from the next day, like I was going to start all over then from that day's losses. And got up the next day, I lost the second day in a row, and I said, gosh darn it, I'm doing it again. Ripped that piece of paper out of my notebook, went down to the fireplace, burned that second one again, and never looked back. All right, and then I just moved forward, So if you're keeping track of your losses, all right, if you're keeping track of your demons, if you're talking to them, if you're writing them down, if you're trying to figure them out, if you've given them names, burn them, okay? Burn them. In fact, if you've given them names, and if it helps you do it, and you don't actually haven't done this crazy thing as I used to do, then actually write them down, and tonight, or put it in the thing and burn it in the sink, light it on fire, light it up, all right? Take your trading records that you have with all the losses back from 2012 and burn them. All right? It's January 2013. It's the 23rd. Okay? If you've had a shitty month and it's been a tough month to trade, which it has for a lot of people, all right? Burn your P&L records and get up tomorrow morning and make money. Okay? How does conviction help you make money? How does it help you do it? It's a strong belief. Not just a belief in the market and your strategy and the gap with yourself. Okay? And the conviction helps you make money because it in and of itself alleviates the fear. When you trade with conviction, you alleviate the fear. When you start to trade without fear, which you must do, okay, you will learn to trust your sixth sense. What does this really mean? What am I talking about? Okay? You've got to find a way to stop the fear, to alleviate the fear. You've got to move forward from it. You've got to stop it, burn it, get rid of it. Find a way to minimize it. The only way to do that is conviction. And I say this all the time. I have 100% conviction it's going to work today. I have 100% conviction it's going to work today. Do you know I say that so many days in the room and so many times, all the time? Do you know how many times my calls work? Do you know that sometimes I even give up on them and don't retake them? Okay, like, was it AMRN yesterday or ARNA? No, it was ARNA, I think I did yesterday. I did it in the morning, took a loss on it, set up late in the morning, never redid it. And I called it in the morning at 8 o'clock and said it was going to work. Okay, and I just said, when I say 100% conviction, I mean 100% conviction. 100% conviction. Get to that place within yourself where you say I have 100% conviction in this. And if you can't get to the place where you say I have 100% conviction, then you don't have conviction, and therefore you don't trade it. All right? You don't take any trade at all. And if you do have conviction, you trade it. You trade it, you stick with it, you don't give up on it, you put the stop at the right place, you give it time, you make it work. Unless it does something for some reason that tells you it's not going to work, like a reverse swoosh or something like that. Okay? Like ETH did yesterday, which it traded crazy. Okay, and then it said it wasn't going to work. But, the bottom line is you have to get to a point where the conviction helps you to alleviate the fear, because the fear is what is preventing you from making money. It's like saying, I love you, market, but I'm afraid of you too. Do you think that love and fear can exist in the same place? They cannot exist in the same place. That's like saying, I love you to your sweet husband. I'm not married, by the way. But I'm also afraid to death of you. Is that someone I want to marry? Do I want to marry someone I'm afraid of? Can I love and be afraid of the man that I want to marry at the same time? Would that be a happy existence? No, it wouldn't be. Would you do that to yourself? Would you do that with anyone in your life? You want to marry someone you're afraid of. Do you want to marry someone you're afraid of? Do you love that person? No. It's like saying they cannot exist in the same space. Fear and love do not exist in the same space. They're opposites. So therefore, how do you expect to love making money in the market, love trading, have conviction, love the market, love money, okay, and be afraid of it all at the same time? And you think you're going to figure something out? You think you're going to be able to do that and accomplish what you're trying to do with that? No. So this is what people just don't get. They just don't get it. They just don't get it, okay? They don't coexist in the same space. Wealth consciousness and wealth in and of itself and love in and of itself is the same thing. All right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. When you get to that point where you're in a space of love, money comes to you naturally and you're not in fear about it. It's called what I call a wealth consciousness, and fear doesn't exist on that plane. Tom's saying that amazingly some people do because they try to fix them and they love them by fixing them. Yeah. Those are the people that need to go see a therapist, but we're not going to go there tonight. And you can go see a therapist about your trading, by the way. Do you know there's all kinds of things out there trading coaches, this coach and that coach, the therapy. I talk to people about this stuff, but I'm not doing it to be their therapist. Okay, I'm doing it to get them to just think. Okay, just take it apart. Just think about it. Just take what I'm saying and just think about it yourself. Okay, I'm not trying to heal anyone here. I want you to use your head and think about what I'm saying. Okay, because this is good information. All right. No one's going to fix you. No therapist is going to fix you. And if you go to a therapist once a week to try to heal this thing in you, you're going to just keep talking about it. And then this guy is going to have 5 more friends, and they're going to spend $2,000 more by the end of the year in therapy. And this guy's going to have 5 more friends running around you talking, because the more you talk about it, the more friends you get. Okay? I'm talking about trusting yourself. Trust yourself. Let go of the past. Move forward. Burn your losses. Okay? And be in discernment. Stop second-guessing yourself. Stop waiting and waiting and waiting for guarantees. You know that I have people all the time that want to guarantee. Well, I want to do this, and I want to free trial in your room for a guarantee, and then I want to do this for a guarantee, and I want you to show me your own records, Melissa. And if you can't do that, then I can't get the guarantee, and I want a guarantee. I want a guarantee. A guarantee of what? A guarantee that you're not going to lose money? Well, I'm not going to guarantee that to you because you are the one that's pressing the buttons. And if you have issues and you have fear, you're going to screw up anything I teach you. Therefore, I must be honest with you and tell you that you have got to learn the information that I'm teaching, and you've got to get conviction yourself. And this is why if anyone trades with me, if anyone's in my room, I will talk about it so endlessly that you will get it. In fact, I'm quite certain that the people that were in my room in the last 2 days, or even the last month, because you know what, it's been a tough month to trade, and I've had some good calls, that they're realizing the power of conviction, even if they didn't have it with the stuff I said, that they're realizing the power of conviction because they've seen me doing it, and seeing me do it and say these things and seeing it happen is helping them to gain conviction in themselves, which is an overlap and an asset of being in my room, okay? Because they see me have conviction, then they see the thing working. So then it's helping them to realize that this whole idea of conviction actually is pretty good. It actually kind of makes sense, you know? It actually kind of makes sense. And so the thing is just being around someone like me who is teaching you, okay, not only the strategy but everything else. The whole idea is to assist you in realizing that it's possible and that it can be done. All right. It takes courage. It takes courage to trade the stock market. It takes courage to risk your own money in the market. It takes courage to learn something new like a gap strategy, which is what I teach. And it takes courage to realize that you need to learn what to do in order to be successful. You've got to learn what to do, what that is. Okay, you have to. No one is handing you a silver platter unless you were born into tons of money. Okay, so when you get to a point, you say to yourself, "I want to do something to change my financial status in my life." Trading might be it. Okay, if I can trade and make money in the first 2 hours of trading on the day in gaps, and that's what I need to do. It may take courage for me to learn how to do this thing. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to get it. It may take 6 months. It may take a year. It may take 3 months. I might do very well. I might pick up on it fast. It may take me a while. I'm not sure. But it takes courage to learn something new and to say to yourself, I know I need to do this in order to be successful. I wish I could just be handed a silver platter and it could be that easy, but the thing is, it's not. Okay, it is just not. And I've had people, talk to me a lot, about expenses with platform fees and the ECN fees and commissions and taking classes in rooms and then putting up money to trade. All the things that it costs to do it, yes, there's a cost. There's a cost involved. And it takes courage to know that there's a cost involved to do it. And the thing is, the cost is different for everyone. No one says, if you sign up today, it will cost you $5,552.22 to learn how to trade in 3 months. If you do this, and that. No, it doesn't work like that, okay? There is no such thing. There isn't a sign-up sheet you go down to Wall Street, knock on the door, and you sign up and you just pay the money, and they say do this, and then by this date you enter. Hello world, there it is. Okay, all the money I could ever ask for in the market. It doesn't work like that. Everybody starts out from a different place. Everybody starts out learning different things. Some people learn crap at the beginning, and then they have to unlearn it. And sometimes that crap, okay, has created some of those demons, and then they got to unlearn that. All right? So because everyone comes from a different place, and a different place in the world, a different state, a different country, a different city, a different planet, okay, it takes courage when you realize that you may have to shell out more money, learn something new, spend more time, successful, and quite frankly, it's up to you to decide if you want to do it, all right? I will tell you that if you don't, you will be successful if what you're doing now isn't working. And at the end, you know, you have to get to a point where you just ask yourself, how much do you want it? I think for me personally, I always knew that I would do this. I knew it was my destiny. I always knew it. I just knew it. It was like part of my cellular makeup, okay? But on an intellectual level, there were many times I had conversations with friends and family where they were telling me on an intellectual level that it was not working, okay? This is during times when I was not doing well at the beginning, and before I figured any of this stuff out, okay? And I was losing money at the beginning and hadn't gotten to this level of even figuring out the 26 points or anything else. On an intellectual level and a financial level, it made sense to just, quit, okay? And I did not do that. And it took courage for me to not do that, all right? And then what happened? Something better happened than I could have ever anticipated, which is me creating the golden gap strategy I have right now, which is 26 points to look at on a chart. And then everything else, swoosh, my entries, and now my trading in the last 3 months, the last month, okay, has taken on such a heightened level now where it's beyond even, making up points and things like that, where my sixth sense is so heightened that I can see that something's going to happen before it happens. And honestly, every time you get to a point where you think you can't do what it takes to get to the next level because it's going to cost you money and time, all right, you take 3 steps back. If you're willing to do that, if you've got the courage to do it, you will be rewarded by getting a leap ahead way beyond the 3 steps back. You will be able to leap ahead then with 6 steps forward, or maybe 10. And I know this because it's happened to me. Every time something happens to me, I say, gosh darn it, why is this happening now? Things are going great. I can't believe this. And then I say to myself, you know what? I'm not going to let it bother me. I've made it through more things than this. I'm not even going to let it bother me. I know, because this, negative thing just occurred, that if I shake it off, okay, if I shake it off, that something phenomenal and great is going to happen to me very soon, very quickly, better than expected, out of the blue, because I deserve it, because I'm going to shake it off. And the more you do that, the less then you have to shake off, the less times it happens, and the leaps forward become more and more and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. The idea is to get to a point, okay, where you don't even have to psychoanalyze or self-analyze yourself or your trading anymore, where you just have the conviction and the courage to do what you know is right, and you do it because you know that this is your path. You know that you're meant to be a trader. You've invested time and money in this for several years, maybe half your life, okay? And you just know that this is what you're meant to do. You're just meant to do it, all right? Some people are meant to do it. And maybe that's why you found me, okay? You have to get to a point where you trust yourself. I cannot stress this enough. I can teach you everything I know. Everything that I know. And you can be in my room. But if you don't trust yourself, it's not going to mean a hill of beans, okay? You must trust yourself. You've got to do it. Very important. So here's a little picture of what I call the Holy Grail. I'm just trying to find an example of it. But this is what really the sixth sense and conviction is. It's the Holy Grail of trading. There is no Holy Grail of trading in the sense that you go to this person and they know everything, okay? It's not like that. You want the Holy Grail in trading? It's conviction. It's the sixth sense. It's one and the same. The sixth sense equals conviction. Conviction equals of each other. It is the holy grail of trading. This is it. You can get this with anything you do. How do you get to this point? All right? The basics must be there. A strategy that you're doing that works, okay? And a system in place. Money management and focus and all that stuff. But once you've got all that, if you are not successful, you're missing this piece, all right? And until you get it, you will not see the holy grail of money coming in over and over and over and over and over again, all right? Which is where you need to be. Getting up every day, seeing something, taking the trade, and making money. Booking it, making it, booking it, stopping. And some days getting up and saying, I do not see it. My sixth sense tells me there's nothing today. The 2 days I say that too in a year's time. And therefore, I'm not taking a trade. I'm not going to trade today. And I know my sixth sense is telling me that nothing is good. And therefore, you don't. All right? Because why? You're following your sixth sense. Now, this golden gap that I did back in, this is like a while ago, okay? It was back in November. This thing worked here, dropped down, and got some kind of letter that this is a buy in here, and I advised my room to not buy this. This is not a buy. I said this is lower for sure. All right. What happened? It dinged up a little bit to resistance level right up here, and after that it gapped down the next day. Had a nice, beautiful sell set up here. I'd been watching this whole time, and I can't even tell you why, but my sixth sense kicked in the day of this gap, and I called it at 9:31, and it dropped off a cliff. This was, my sixth sense doing it and calling it live in my room, and here it was. Right there, I watched it, I called it right there. It was the best entry of the day, and it went to the target. Target was $42. It was 9:31 in the morning, the price was $42.28. Took it right there. This wasn't even a gap play. This was a continuation gap play that worked. I had a beautiful entry, and if you're 20 cents and took 1,500 shares, how would you do that? Conviction, and a sixth sense, and a continuation gap of a golden gap. You have to take it off if it doesn't go past 42. The exit was at 10:35, and the profit was $1,800. So you risk 300 to make 1,800. That's not bad. If you don't want to risk 300, risk 150 and make 900. Either way is 6 times the amount of risk to reward. And where did this come from? Well, how did I even see this? This is the magic in trading, where you look at something and you say, the place that that's gapping at today, I love it. I know this is going to, I just have a feeling I'm going to watch this today. And all of a sudden it opens, you say, I'm taking it. And it goes. It's just, this is where you've got to get within your own trading, where you just grab things that you see, that you like, that you spot, that you know, that you have conviction in, your sixth sense. Get it kicking. Get it in gear. Get it going. All right? Do it. Do it for yourself. Here's another one. This was just from Friday. This was not even an earnings play. It was a gap down, and I actually really, really, really liked the chart. And I said, you know what? This is the best gap today. And it wasn't even on earnings. It was some downgrade. I said, you know what? I really like this gap a lot. This is the best one today. I said that at 8:02. All right? And what happened? Well, squiggly jiggly here in the morning. Okay? Actually did take this here, had the drop. Okay? Did a double bottom, so you have to be out. And I said, what the heck? Wait a minute. It's making higher highs. What? And I kept watching it. All right? I said, this doesn't make sense. Now, you can't short this up here right away. But I watched it and watched it and watched it and didn't give up on it because it kept the conviction. And it was holding here at 1450. So then I took it into the 1450. Every time it kept coming up to try to take it, I said, now I like it. I like it. More conviction, more conviction, more conviction. It's finally holding where it needs to. So the entry was 1048. The price was 1447. I had my stop at 1453. And I'm going to show you what I did. It actually went to the target, which was the pre-market low, 1392. The profit on this, if you did, okay, on the retest was $2,200, almost 10 times the amount. But here's what happened. I'm in this play, all right? I'm in this play on the retest around this area here. Okay, this is a 5-minute chart, but I just want to show you. This is conviction tested. I've got my stop at 53. It's not going. It's not breaking. It's not breaking on the low day. It's getting late. I'm very impatient. I like these things to go. I start to see this. I say, you know what? I'm going to take my stop out. I was almost ready to kill it. I almost give up on it. Almost ready to kill it. Almost just threw in the towel. But I had such conviction in this, and it was really tested on Friday. I said, I'm going to give it a couple pennies. Took it out. And lo and behold, it went up to 55 and held. The next bar held right there. I put the stop over there. I said, you know what? In my mind, I said I was giving it to 60, but then I said, you know what? I'm not giving it to 60. Put the stop in, and after that, it dropped off the cliff. Here's the 15 minutes. This is what it did. As soon as this bar closed, and this bar opened here right at the number, I put the stop right over there, and that was all I was giving it. But I almost got taken out of the trade. I put the stop at the right place to be over 50, and I gave it 3 pennies, but my conviction was tested here when it did this. Now, why did this happen? Who knows, okay? These things wiggle and jiggle as the day goes on, and it's getting late now. It's lunchtime. So that's why I decided to give it a little extra room. I hold my stops really tight in the morning. I'm very good with that. But as the day goes on, you have to give something a couple pennies. If I wouldn't have stuck with it and kept my conviction, I would have missed this whole thing and actually taken a loss, okay? Actually taken a loss on it. And here's the reason. Let me see if I can have this. Here's what I was looking at here. This is a 1-minute chart. I wasn't overly concerned about the scoop, even though I was a little bit, which is why I took out the stop. In all 1 bar, it went above that area, just 1, and immediately came right back down red. So it wasn't like some crazy, like, woo-doo, okay? It was like, this bar traded green, not a problem. This bar is the bar that went a tiny kind of little bit up to 55, and then as soon as it did, it went right back down. So I kept the conviction, and my sixth sense said, oh, it's okay. It's okay because this isn't buying here. This is just a little bit of a rally. It's a weeny little one. It's okay. It's really not doing anything wrong. So I kept it, put the stop back in, and let it go. All right? Again, this is a sixth sense thing where it was telling me, first of all, the gap was good, and second of all, that I wasn't in danger here because this really isn't people buying it. It wasn't flipping. It was just, boop, and then it went right back down. Okay? So, you're going to get to a point where you're starting to do this and you develop your own conviction, and it's still going to be tested. It's going to be tested, I don't know how many times a year, but you will get tested. And if you want to make money trading, you're going to have to stick on it, keep the conviction, keep it up. Now, I think that this works when you're doing one thing. I think this works when you're doing one thing well. That's why I tell people to do that. That's why I want people to take my class and be in my room, because I think the combination of that is unbeatable to get conviction, to figure out, what you're supposed to do, all right? How do you get to a place where you can even develop this thing within yourself? Doing it, okay? Doing it. So who is responsible for your success? When you get up in the morning and trade and make money, who is responsible for that success? Who? You are. You are responsible for your own success and the choices you make to get to that point. If being a successful trader was just all about hard work, which we already talked about, everyone who works hard would be successful, but they are not. And if being successful as a trader was just about having a lot of money, everyone that had a lot of money would make money trading, but they are not. I have a lot of people say this to me too. They say, well, if I had more money, Melissa, if I had more money, I'd make more money. If I just had more money, I'd make more money. Baloney. If you had more money, you lose more if you're losing now. Okay? So it's good you don't. You don't need millions of dollars to make money trading. And you can make a lot with a little if you know what the heck to do. You're not going to be able to risk as much if you have only a little, but you can still turn that little into more and build on that and build on that and build on that. I will say it's easy when you have money behind you because you can screw up and get back in the game. But you can allow yourself to screw up till you learn it anyways by backing off what you're doing now to give yourself the time to do it. And then you say to yourself, well, I don't know how much time I'm going to need, Melissa. How much time do you need? Figure it out. Make it up. Decide right now. February, you want to give yourself to March 23rd? You want to give yourself to April? You tell me. I don't know, but figure it out. Otherwise, you're going to be out another year, and you're still going to be in my free webinars, and you're still going to be at the same place. Don't do that to yourself. Just decide today to do it. By this date, I'm doing it. I've made up my mind. I'm not going to be on this wheel of a time continuum forever. It's time to get on with my life. This is what I want to do. I'm going to develop this thing she's talking about. It really makes sense. All right? Success in trading comes from having a solid strategy, the support of a good trading room, which I offer people, and also conviction in yourself. And that's something I can't give you, but I can tell you that you need it. I can tell you what it feels like, but until you experience it, just like having a pet and loving a pet, you won't know until you feel it yourself. Success and successful results in your trading is a combination of many things. Your own personal conviction in yourself, your strategy in the market is what drives that success. Success requires a good strategy, a good course that teaches you quality information like the Golden Gap course to help you pick what stock to trade. Success requires hard work to learn the information and put it to use. Ultimately, however, the main energy and fire behind everything you do with your trading is your own personal conviction in yourself. In yourself. I cannot tell you what this means. I can tell you right now, if you don't have conviction in a strategy, if you don't have conviction in your training plan, if you don't have conviction in anything you're doing right now in the market, or even the market at all, then say you never traded before in your life. You have no clue how to trade. Okay? If you have conviction in yourself, you can figure it out. You'll get there. All right? Your strong conviction in yourself will drive you and lead you to the right people, like me, to learn the information, to get it, to do it. Your personal conviction in yourself to make the money trading, will drive you in the direction you need to take forward to the right people. You will meet the right people. Okay? Have I met the right people? At the beginning, okay? At the very, very, very beginning, I probably did meet the right people. I did meet the right people at the beginning because you know what? The person that I learned from at the beginning was a good teacher. I didn't stick with that person. I learned what I needed to and moved on. And it was a good place to start. All right? And what did I get out of that experience at the very beginning? The skills that I learned that were the basics of technical analysis and Japanese candlestick reading. And that was important. If I had started from a place of, I don't even know where people start, so many different places. If I had been learning how to read financial reports or started out with any kind of foundation that wasn't technical analysis, I may not be at the place I'm at today at this point in my life, okay? The foundation that I received was good information, and for that, I'm grateful. So when you have conviction in yourself and you really set out to do it and you want to do it, you will, your sixth sense will lead you towards the right people. And again, this goes back to what? Trusting in yourself. Because here's what happens. We do sometimes meet up with people, and we do sometimes trust people that we learn then afterwards that we shouldn't. We've all been there, okay? Now, we can say to ourselves, therefore, Melissa, I don't trust myself because I made bad decisions in the past, okay? But you've learned from that. You've learned through experience. This is what it's about to mature within yourself as a person, okay? As a trader, as a person, as an adult, as someone that starts to see what it's about to really trust and believe in yourself, okay? And you've got to get to that place. This isn't about saying, well, every decision I made, since the day I started living hasn't worked out. Therefore, I will never trust myself. Therefore, I can't trust you or anyone. And, what am I supposed to do? No. Okay? That's incorrect. All right? You've got to get to a self within your space in your life, and that could be age 25, 35, 45, 55, 65 years old. I don't know when. But eventually, you've got to get to a place within yourself that you trust yourself. All right? I don't know how old everyone is here, but if you're going to wait until you're 55 or 62 to start trusting yourself, then you're going to live half your life questioning every decision you make. How can you possibly live in health and happiness and peace? You know that the safety of your own world and getting out of the fear and trusting yourself is more important than anything that you have. You know that when I make decisions where I'm okay with myself, and I never make a decision where I hate myself. I make decisions where I'm not okay with myself. That's the worst place to be in. It's different if you make a decision that you know is bad for you, or you make a decision that you believe is good for you. If it turns out not to work out, but you thought that it would, you can't blame yourself. You learn from the experience and move on, and what happens of information that will take you to a new level of a sixth sense, conviction, and discernment within yourself to make a better decision the next time, and therefore that circumstance will not happen to you again. You must trust that that circumstance will not happen to you again. Do you understand? You must learn from the experience and figure it out. It's so much easier sometimes to take advice from other people. But then again, is it? Okay? What was the movie? There was some movie. I can't think of what it was. It's a movie that was made, I think, in the 80s or the 90s. It was a weird movie where there were women in it that were making the women have babies to make a certain kind of race. Help me out here. What the heck movie am I talking about? It was in the 80s, the 90s? I'm going to have to look it up. It was one of those weird movies where people didn't have control over the procreation. I forget what the heck it was called. I watched it in college. It actually was a book, I think. I'm really going to have to look it up. The point I'm trying to make about it is that if you lived in a society, okay, where you actually did not have any choices, and you actually had to take direction from someone all the time, would you want that outcome? Would you want that life? Do you know how lucky you are that you can make your own decisions? This is a great world. This is a great life. You live in a great country, okay? We can make our own decisions. We're looking for other people to tell us what to do, but why? Why? Just trust yourself and make your own decisions and listen to what you're saying. You want someone else to tell you what to do. You never hear the confirmation, the guarantee you want. Therefore, you're in limbo, okay? Because you don't trust yourself. And then what happens? Your life goes on, things move forward, things are moving forward anyways. Eventually, it either falls apart or you put it together. Remember the time continuum. It's going to take as long as it needs to take you to fail, or it's going to take as long as it needs to take you to succeed. So just make up the mind to succeed and do it as quickly as you can. Was it the Stepford Wives movie? No, not Stepford Wives. It was, gosh, I wish I could think of it. I want to say Hand That Rocks the Cradle, but it wasn't Hand That Rocks the Cradle. It was something with the cradle. Shoot, I can't think of it. I'm going to have to Google it afterwards. And then I'll email everybody. It was a weird movie. It was one of those weird ones. And it was based on a book. It was based on a book. And I remember watching it in college. And the whole point is that we live in a society where we can make our own choices. And yet we're always looking for other people for direction. But if we lived in a society where we couldn't make our other choices, then we had to take direction from other people, we'd be miserable. So therefore, take it under your own advisement and trust yourself and just do it. Just do it yourself anyways, okay? The power of conviction is really just tapping into the power within you. You are the one with the power. You are so powerful. You have the power within yourself to follow a disciplined trading plan, make money in the market, and learn a strategy that works. You can control your destiny by making a choice not to allow anything to stand in the way of your trading success. You can do that. And you can also say to yourself that you want to do it within a certain time frame. Now, I'm not saying run out tomorrow and make $1 million. That's not the point I'm trying to make here. I'm trying to say to get to a point where you can cross the bridge, where you know that you're on that path to get there, and you stop second-guessing yourself. You stop second-guessing whether you should spend the money to take my class or be in my room or change something you're doing. You're so afraid to change something you're doing because you think if you do that, it could be worse than what you're doing now. How could it be worse than what you're doing now? If you're not successful now, then make a change. What's the worst thing that can happen if you make a change? What's the worst thing that can happen if you take my class and you can't figure out the information? You can't do it. You pay the money for my class, and then all of a sudden you start doing it. What's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen. Would you die? No, you wouldn't die. Okay? What's the best thing that would happen? Well, if you turn your trading around, you could start to make money. And you could have made money doing IAG today in a swoosh. In fact, you could make a whole trading plan around the swoosh play that I teach in my class. The whole thing. You could just do that every time you see it and never take another trade but that. And you'd make money. I almost think that almost never works. It's like one of those things that's so close to 100% in the market. I'm so proud of myself for creating it. You know? And it's just that good. So that's the best thing that could happen to you. You can come out with a whole new thing where you only do one play that I teach and you never lose. focus and trust your instincts. Part of having conviction is trusting yourself. Let this webinar be the first step towards trusting yourself. Do you trust the words I'm saying? Do you trust me as a teacher, as an instructor? Do you trust that if you took my class, the information I teach you is good enough to make money trading? Do you? Do you? Ask yourself that. Do you trust that what I'm saying to you, that I did this and did it with my own real money, it took me over 3 years to figure this stuff out, that it's that good that I decided to put it out in the universe and put myself personally, my name, start a company, teach people this? Do you trust that I'd be doing this for nothing if it wasn't good? What do you think? Okay. So I'm asking you to trust me, and sometimes you have to do that with people in your life. And let me tell you something. It gets to be easier to trust other people once you trust yourself. And this isn't about blind faith, okay? This is about getting to a point where you say, you know what, I believe in myself, and I believe in the information this person is teaching me, and I'm ready to take a leap into my future to do something to change my circumstances because I feel that my life could be better than this. I feel that my life could be better than this. I feel that life has got to be more than this, okay? I know that there's more than this. I don't know what it is, but there's got to be more than this, okay? And I got to get to that point. And how am I going to do it? I'm either going to trust myself or trust myself and Melissa. And if I'm half-assed trusting myself, maybe if I trust Melissa, she'll help me along. Whatever. Either way, it's better than continually going over the things that you've done over the last however many months and weeks and years in your life that you regret. And this is with trading or anything else. And something else that could have nothing to do with trading. Maybe you never took a trade in your life. But you go over other decisions you made in the past and say, gosh, I really want to learn how to trade. This is what I want to do. But then I tried to do this the other year and it didn't work out. I thought I wanted to go and, learn how to do this thing or take a new job or do whatever. And it didn't work out. And therefore, then I don't trust any decisions I make about doing something new. Forget it. Forget it. Don't even think about that anymore. Think about right now, this moment, we're living together. I'm talking, you're here with me. It's 5:48 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon, okay? It was a great trading day. I can't wait to have a nice glass of wine tonight after this and a good supper. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. There's only 2 more days left in the week. I'm doing a class this weekend. Boy, it's a nice life. Freezing cold, we might have snow in a few days. It'll be nice to have a little chilly weather. And, things are going well. Be happy, live in the moment. Stop looking back. Conviction is experiential, just like when you smell a flower, smell a rose. If you never smelled a rose in your life, how would you know? I could talk all night about it and say these things smell fabulous. They're sweet, they're beautiful. Everyone has a different scent. The red ones are better than the yellow ones. The yellow ones are better than the pink ones. The colors of them, they're fabulous. What if you were blind? What if you couldn't even see? And I tried to tell you and explain to you what a flower looked like. Do you know how lucky you are that you have all your senses and can experience everything in life if you've got all of them? We are lucky, okay? There's people in different countries right now, third world countries, that don't have any food to eat, all right? And we want to beat ourselves up for shit we did 2 years ago with our trading, our decisions we made in our lives? Are you serious? Come on. Be grateful for what you have. You've got all your senses. And I'm telling you, you've got another one you don't even know about, and that one is the best one of all. It's the best one of all. It is one that once you start to grab hold of it, it's going to change your life, okay? It's the kind of thing when I start to grab hold of it, every time it happens to me on a phenomenal level, I realize my own self-power, okay? I realize the power of myself. The power of myself is the creator of my own life, and I'm overwhelmed by it, all right? And you've got to get to that point, too, because that's how you're going to start to make leaps and bounds and strides in your life. And this is on every level. Financial, emotional, relationships, everything. Business, you name it. Family, all of it, okay? 2013 is about conviction. If you are currently trading and you lack conviction in what you're doing, then change. Change what you're doing. You have plenty of time to change, and you have a good, productive, successful 2013, all right? But you must get a plan of action in place to get conviction for yourself and your trading. What is the plan of action? The Golden Gap course, which I'm teaching this weekend, changing your strategy completely, just throwing everything, just taking your trading plan and burn it. Maybe you need to do that. Take the trading plan you have now that's been making you lose money for the last few years and burn that sucker. Do something different. Make the necessary changes. Okay? It's tough sometimes, but don't give up. All right, just don't give up. You have a lot to be grateful for. I have a lot to be grateful for. Life can be tough, but don't give up. Okay? I know it. All right? If I could sit and tell you what I've been through to get to this point, you wouldn't believe it. You would have a newfound faith in me, and you would trust me. But I'm not going to even go there. Why? Because it doesn't matter. It just doesn't even matter. What happened to me doesn't matter. What happened in the past to you doesn't matter either. All right? It shapes who you are today. You learn from your experiences, and you move on. All right? It's time to just move on. This whole thing that happened, like, everything about the 90s, this new age stuff, all this stuff. I've read all the books. I've done it. I've been there. I learned this stuff in my 20s, okay? Enough already, okay? Just forget it. That's not the way to go. This is a new level. It's a new way to evolve, and it's not about reiterating and going over and healing, the shit that happened to us. This is about just letting it go, moving on, and getting to a different level. Just using our brains and our minds and our power of our intuition and the power within ourselves to take it to the next level, all right? Learn to get this right. You need a plan of action. You need a plan of action in place in order to be successful trading. You need a plan of action in order to be successful in your life. And you need a proven strategy and a system that works in order to make money trading. You absolutely must follow this plan to achieve success. Of course, you have to have a good plan. And what I'm saying to you is if you don't, then you need to figure it out. And if you don't have conviction in your own trading plan, it probably is a piece of crap. So burn it. Okay? Tim's just saying if you never fail, you can never fail if you never quit. Absolutely, that's true. Absolutely. 100%. And here's a little, this is a Chinese fortune cookie. You will be rewarded for your efforts. I'm reminding you. Having this plan of action, making a new plan of action if you need one, you will be rewarded for your efforts. It may be something that you're not prepared to do. It may not be exactly the way that you thought it would be. You may, have written everything out and figured everything out, and it didn't go the way you planned. But you didn't know that at the time. And now you've got to make a new plan. Okay, you've got to make a new plan, and that new plan may mean part of my trading room, taking my class this weekend, whatever it is. You have to just be willing to change and make a new plan if the plan you have now isn't working or you don't have conviction in it. And I think this becomes an issue for people that are trading for a long, 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 long time, and they insist that what they're doing is on the track, and that there's just something else, something they're missing, just one little thing. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's the rest of it. Okay? Follow what I'm saying? I always like to use this little picture of the baby. Remember to have patience in yourself. Have patience in yourself to get where you need to be. All right? But you have to remember that even when you're patient with a baby, you've got to tell the baby what it is. It is time to eat, little baby, and you must eat. You might not be hungry, but I'm making you eat anyways because you haven't eaten now for 8 hours. You can cry all you want when I feed you, but you've got to eat, Mr. Baby, okay? So you can be patient with yourself as long as you want to. But eventually you're going to have to parent yourself a little bit and say, you know what? You cannot go 24 hours without food and sleep. I'm going to make you eat and I'm going to make you sleep, little baby, because you need it. And you got to get to that point with yourself where you have to become a little bit of a parent to yourself and say, you know what? I am not going to let you do this to yourself anymore. It's time to trust yourself right now. It's time to make some changes. It's time to take a leap of faith and move forward and do something new. It's time to get the conviction she's talking about. It's time to be a parent to myself here now and get a little tough. This is a little tough love with yourself. Okay? The ultimate reward, of course, is the money. That's the whole reason we trade. But personally, I believe that when you get to a point where you're successful as a trader, the rewards are way more than even the cash. It's the personal conviction in the fact that you did it, that you were so resolute, that you took on the market with your own money by yourself, sitting in a room with a computer, and you learned it and you did it. Okay, that's the reward. The reward is you learned something, you took on the market, you trade every day, you take money out of the market every day as an individual person with your own money and you work for 1 hour and you do it and you've been at it now for however long and you finally did it, the rewards are the money, but it's a personal satisfaction that you've accomplished what you set out to do. And, you know, that's a huge reward. Huge. So I'm doing a class this weekend. For anyone that's interested, please feel free to email me. Wednesday night, you still have time to sign up. It's Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and the cost is $15.99. And if you're interested, you can email me at melissa@stocksbush.com. And I'm running a special for anyone that takes the class in January. They'll sign up for the room. I can get them the whole rest of the month of January and February just for free in the room if you do the class this weekend. I think the support of having the room right after the class is what people need. And today was a perfect example of that in IAG. You know, people learn the swoosh, then we saw it live, and then I called the trade, and, you know, everybody in my room did it. It's just one of those things where it really helps to be in the room to get the entries, to get the calls, to help you gain the conviction in the stuff that you learn in the class, which I think is important. And then, of course, they have the information about the room. Anyone that wants to join my trading room. For students, it's $200 a month, and for non-students, it's $250 a month. It's a very focused trading room. Of course, it's focused. I mean, you guys know me. And the gap is all that I trade, all right? And the whole thing is based on technical analysis. I put this here at the end. This is somebody that's in my room. This is a new room member who wrote me a really nice email on Friday night. Yeah, it was Friday night. And he said, "Hello, Melissa, you did it again. Your early call," he was in the room at 8 o'clock in the morning, "on FNSR with conviction was right on target. I hope you carried it into the afternoon and made a lot of money because it dropped as low as $15.90. Your ability to pick FNSR was very uncanny, just like your other picks. Again, this is 6 cents. And on the other hand, JCI moved up in the afternoon and closed at $31, just as you predicted." I said that too. "I took my money early in the morning. I did not participate in any of them in the afternoon, but I wished I had with FNSR." He's new to my room. A nice move. That was a good first week for me in your trading room. Have a nice long weekend, Candle Trader. So here's someone that he's starting to learn conviction with me and in the room himself. And over time, he will see that as well. And this is something that, you know, because I don't call a million plays, and I don't do a million things in the room, and because the things I say are so focused in detail, I think that helps people gain conviction in their trading. I think it helps people get conviction in their trading. I think that's one of the biggest values about being in my room. I think if you're in a room that calls lots of different strategies or different plays, it's going to be hard for you to get conviction in one thing or you're trading. You're going to be busy and sporadic, and your mind's going to be scattered. And I think the whole idea about narrowing something down to 1 or 2 or 3 picks in the morning helps you focus on the symbol, the candles, the charts, the price action, the entries, the everything, okay? Instead of being too all over the place. And in the process of that, you will force yourself then to focus on having your own conviction or gaining it with being with me in the room. So anyways, thank you, everyone. Does anyone have any questions about anything I said tonight? Ask me now, and then I do want to look at the earnings.